Timothée Chalamet's Wonka is a prequel to Roald Dahl's 1964 novel Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which has been adapted into a feature film twice before: Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory in 1971 and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory in 2005. The prequel film followed Chalamet as a younger version of the eccentric chocolatier during the early days of his career as the iconic candy maker. Wonka has also assembled an impressive supporting cast, which includes recent Oscar-winning darling Olivia Colman, Keegan-Michael Hill, Sally Hawkins, and Rowan Atkinson. Now, fans are treated to another sneak peek at Chalamet on set. The behind-the-scenes video shows the actor on set in full Victorian garb, replete with Willy Wonka's signature top hat and cane. Timothée Chalamet provides an even better explanation of Wonka's connection to the original films, which some fans still find puzzling. Wonka's behind-the-scenes footage is much more dramatic and bizarre than the film itself.
Is the story of the beginning of Willy Wonka and the ambitious young chocolatier who hasn't made it yet, who's full of ambition, full of joy, full of a hat full of dreams.
David Heyman, the film's producer, is likewise enamored by Timothy's persona and the actor's commitment to the shoot.
Are on day 70, and every day he brings something new to the table. He, like Willy, is an artist, is passionate.
Additionally, Timothy's portrayal of the younger Wonka actually left the entire team quite impressed, although the actor's time on set wasn't all simple.
There's more training that went into this than maybe anything I'd ever worked on.
Although the actor grew up performing in musicals and theatres, he revealed that it took a lot of work to achieve that on screen. One of the main reasons the actor had to push himself more than he ever did was because of the music and the dances involved. As you can see, that's how one of Wonka's singing scenes was shot behind the scenes. Timothée had to train for months to achieve this scene and other similar ones. When discussing the film's process, he stated that in order to dance well, you must remain in the center of the frame during every take. That is, take 12 and all subsequent takes, and partner with skilled dancers. Timothée continued, saying that in order to perfect the dances, he practiced for a very long time. The professional dancers were practicing a strenuous exercise that involved icing their ankles. James Taylor, a British music supervisor, provided vocal training for the actor before the singing portion. The actor didn't actually sing on set. The music was added later, during a different take and post-production. Here is Timothée getting ready to go into the action behind the scenes. In contrast to dancers, which had to be performed flawlessly for shooting, Timothée had the luxury of pre-recording the songs and only lip-syncing them as they filmed. Fans have always looked forward to the portrayal of Oompa Loompas in Willy Wonka films, and this time is no exception. Hugh Grant mentioned that he had seen the previous films based on Willy Wonka, so he knew what the job was before accepting the position. Hugh actually found a way to recreate the role in a way that the audience still found enjoyable. However, what many people don't know is that Hugh's portrayal of the Oompa Loompa was criticized by his fellow actors behind the scenes. Many dwarf performers, according to George Coppen, feel as though they've been forced out of the business they love. One door is being closed, but they haven't remembered to open the next. Jason Acuna was also not happy with how Hugh got the role, and how the production used VFX to reduce him to fit into the character. He added that Hugh should now identify as a little person to portray one interestingly. When talking about his role in the movie, Hugh didn't seem too happy either. The actor disclosed that he was uncomfortable playing the role because of the demanding nature of the filming process and the numerous cameras that were placed in close proximity to his face to help with post-production editing of his face to match the character. Hugh described the filming experience like a crown of thorns, saying, "I made a big fuss about it and couldn't have hated the whole thing more." In addition to expressing how uncomfortable the process was, Hugh said he was perplexed by the fact that the rest of his body was treated even worse than that. "I never received a satisfactory answer about how awful it was, that what I did with my body was terrible, and it's all been replaced with an animator." Hugh needs explanations on set because of the CGI he used to make his diminutive figure in Wonka. The actor also acknowledged that CGI was used for most of his shots, and that he wasn't always in the same scene as Willy as seen in the film, because they were captured separately. This implies that he didn't spend the majority of the time on set with Timothée. Even the Oompa Loompas dancing scenes weren't done by him. However, Hugh noted that there was only one exception. Then, jokingly, he said he doesn't enjoy making movies, but he does it because he needs the money and has lots of kids. Nevertheless, he enjoyed trying something new and playing around with Noodle, which is another intriguing and important character in the film. Here are the actress Kayla Lane's thoughts on her role.
She's like a tough character. She doesn't want to open up her heart to anybody, but when she meets Willy, she kind of cracks and she's like, "Oh, well, somebody loves me."
There is a picture of Kayla standing with Timothée to film a scene. There are many well-known and famous actors on set, and Kayla revealed how confusing it was to be working with Olivia Colman because she's different from her character. However, the actress also feels that she's the brains behind Willie because of her brilliance, while Willie brings creative ideas to the table.
Showing me pictures of her dog and her kids on set, and we were just sitting there. It was like confusing because she would like throw me into this thing and then be all mean to me when they say action, but then after they're like, oh my gosh, are you okay?
Many fans ponder if the chocolates in the movie are real or merely fake. But before you dive into the behind-the-scenes action, let me tell you that a genuine chocolatier, Gabrielle Cugno, was employed, which means that every piece of chocolate that the Wonka factory created on stage was edible and really accurate. During the filming, Gabriella created over 2,000 chocolates, all of which were consumed by the staff and actors on location. The chocolates were meticulously crafted by hand, using only natural components such as edible flowers, as depicted in the movie.
Your attention, please! There appears to be a manufacturing error. Nobody eat the flour!
The huge orange leaves, mushrooms in the chocolate teacups, and all of the other kinds, including honeycomb meatballs, were created especially for the shoot and were edible. Gabriella also created special chocolates for vegans and made sure everyone had an abundance of them. In the end, she produced thousands of pieces of chocolate by inventing roughly 400 different kinds. Playing the chief of police, Keegan-Michael Key takes pleasure in receiving payments in the delectable chocolate. He stated that any chocolate you see in the movie isn't made of wax, rather it's a prop that appears like a piece of chocolate. The chocolatier made all of it. Not everything on set was edible, especially the flowers and greenery that were coated in sugar and chocolate to make them appear edible, but occasionally it was so good that he asked for an extra take. It's interesting to note that a lot of the cast members had to reshoot their scenes because they couldn't stop eating chocolate, which caused the set to get delayed. And you won't believe what else they did with the real chocolates on the set.
But we also swim in chocolate.
However, since it was more like squatting in an edible chocolate pool than swimming, they were able to accomplish the task pretty easily. In addition, the two major cast members share a favorite scene from the movie, which you can probably anticipate.
I love the scene with the cherry tree.
Yes,
that's
in
my
the
favorite
shop.
scene. Yes.
Yeah, that might be my favorite scene too. The song "A World in Your."
Aside from being an exciting film that makes everyone dream, Wonka is much more lovely because it features vibrant locations. What's essentially going on behind the scenes will surprise you. Thus, the majority of sets were installed at the Warner Brothers Studios in Leavesden, United Kingdom. To create the world of chocolate, they also used a backlot and an aviation hangar. Even though the majority of the scenes were recorded in a studio, they made do by transforming the room into a wider setting with the use of mirrors and backdrops. It took roughly 8 months to construct the town square on one of Leavesden's biggest backlots. The majority of the things used in all the shops in the square were sourced from rentals and markets by the set designers. Artificial snow was used in the creation of the winter images, shown in the square's center, and visual effects were added for added impact. The hover chalk effects were also skillfully handled, since the actors and stunt professionals were able to accomplish the flying scene by raising a separate set next to the plaza to an extremely high level. They also shot inside the cathedral, making St. Paul closed for 3 days so they could use the building entirely for every sequence they needed it for. What's your favorite takeaway from these finest Wonka behind-the-scenes moments? Share your opinions in the comments. Thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.